Hello again. I think it's fair to say that most people today have very strong views of one kind or another about sex changes. It is almost impossible to escape hearing about the subject, of course. 50 years ago, we might watch the evening news and perhaps read a daily paper, but this subject hardly ever came up. Today, everybody owns smartphones, and most people stare at them for hours a day. And so they cannot help being reminded constantly about that kind of thing. Until a few years ago, it was possible to go through life happily without holding any strong views about whether men should be able to dress as women or have themselves castrated. That kind of thing might pop up in the news of the world from time to time, but most of us hardly considered the matter from one year to the next. Now we are called upon to have opinions about this subject in minute detail, even down to which lavatories such people should or should not be allowed to use. It really is weird that such a trivial detail relating to such a tiny minority issue should be the focus of such intense interest to the general public. I say it's of interest to the public, but that isn't strictly speaking true. It's one of those trifling matters which is thrust upon us and debated as though it's of great importance. Instead of thinking about the really important things, such as the future of our country and so on, we are sidetracked into worrying about what a man wanting a sex change will do if he needs a piss when he's out shopping. This is such a strange state of affairs that sex changes should be in the news every single day, and the fallout from clashing opinions about them should make the most popular writer of the day a hugely controversial figure, that we might ask ourselves why we are encouraged to care so much about the business. Why is the ruling of the Supreme Court so important that newspapers cover it in detail? Why do newspapers go into talk at great length of how the lavatories in hospitals are designated as being for this sex or that? The answer is simple enough, and that is that this kind of thing is a deliberately contrived sideshow. It is an entertainment which is supposed to capture our attention and discourage us from thinking about the real and important things which matter in this country. By getting people worked up about something which affects such a tiny number of men with a specialized sexual interest or kink, we tend to avoid looking at the really significant questions of the day. Things such as the political arrangement of the kingdom, how our representative democracy might best be managed, whether our political system has passed its sell-by date, and other serious topics. By the time that we've read of some silly spat between the author of the Harry Potter books and the actors who played roles in the films made of those books about the status of men wanting sex changes, we simply don't have the energy for deep thinking about anything more important. Our energy has been diverted. All the talk about sex changes has acted as a diversion, a way to ensure that we waste our time thinking about something which cannot possibly be any real importance to us or 99.99% of the rest of the population. I've spoken about sex changes, but that's simply one of a number of such diversionary tactics designed to waste our time and claim our attention. Other examples spring readily to mind, such as which television chef might have tried it on with a woman, who might be a bully, which soap star referred to the inhabitants of Blackpool by a derogatory term, and so on. Those things, like sex changes, are the circus laid on to entertain and amuse us. As long as such things claim our attention, then the politicians of all political persuasions are left pretty much to their own devices, safe in the knowledge that we are too busy thinking about nonsense to pay much heed to what they are up to, or about whether our political system is in need of urgent reform.